Crystal Palace have just made a massive decision regarding Adam Wharton's future, and this changes everything for Tottenham. The Eagles have essentially accepted they're losing our dream midfield target in the summer, my friend, and the price tag might be £30 million cheaper than we initially thought. But before we dive deep into all the details, scenarios, and behind-the-scenes information on Wharton, we need to talk about Yan Diomande because a reality check has just landed at Hotspur Way. The race for this £87.5 million winger has exploded with 7 massive clubs now involved, and Liverpool are making their move. So stay with me until the end, pay close attention to everything, and then tell me in the comments what you think about all this movement. If you love Tottenham as much as we do, smash that subscribe button and join our journey to 1,000 subscribers together. Let's back the boys. Look, we're in the middle of the January transfer window, and while Tottenham have already secured Conor Gallagher to strengthen the midfield, the board isn't stopping there. Behind the scenes at Hotspur Way, there's a clear strategy taking shape. The club recognizes that while Gallagher brings energy and box-to-box capability, we still need that creative midfield passer who can unlock defenses and control tempo. Thomas Frank's system demands technical excellence and intelligent ball progression, and the recruitment team has identified specific profiles to complete this squad. At the same time, the attack needs reinforcement, particularly on the wings, and Tottenham are actively monitoring multiple targets across Europe. It's a crucial window that could define our push for Champions League football and beyond. Adam Wharton, the 21-year-old Crystal Palace midfielder who Tottenham view as their absolute dream signing for the creative passer role. According to Team Talk, and this is crucial information, Palace have now reached an internal understanding with Wharton that he'll be allowed to leave at the end of this season. The likelihood of him staying at Selhurst Park beyond May is described as almost zero, my friend. And here's the massive development. While Wharton was valued at £100 million last summer, Palace are now expected to demand a base fee of £65 million plus add-ons. That's potentially £35 million cheaper than the initial asking price. Now, why is Wharton so important to Tottenham plans? Even with Gallagher's arrival, we're still missing that deep-lying playmaker who can dictate matches from a deeper position. Thomas' system requires midfielders who can receive the ball under pressure, turn, and play progressive passes that break lines. We have energy and runners, but that creative metronome who controls tempo and unlocks stubborn defenses, that's the missing piece. Wharton represents exactly that profile, and at 21 years old, he'd be a long-term solution rather than a short-term fix. Let's talk numbers and what Wharton actually brings to the table. This season with Crystal Palace, he's been instrumental in their build-up play, averaging high pass completion rates even under pressure. His ability to receive the ball between the lines, turn defenders, and play forward passes is exceptional for someone his age. Wharton isn't just about keeping possession, he's about advancing it intelligently. Technically, what makes him special is his scanning ability, his first touch under pressure, and his range of passing. He can play the simple ball to maintain rhythm, but he's also got that vision to spot the killer pass that breaks defensive structures. Think of a younger, more mobile Moussa Dembele with better forward passing. In terms of how he fits into Thomas' system, this is where it gets exciting, my friend. Frank demands his midfielders to be comfortable in possession, press-resistant, and capable of progressing the ball vertically. Wharton ticks all these boxes. He could operate as the deepest midfielder, allowing someone like Rodrigo Bentancur or even Gallagher to push higher and make those late runs into the box. His composure would give us more control in games where we dominate possession but struggle to break teams down. Now, the financial side. £65 million base fee plus add-ons for a 21-year-old English international is significant, but let's put it in context. In today's market, creative midfielders of this caliber are going for astronomical fees. When you compare it to what Chelsea paid for Enzo Fernandez or what Arsenal invested in Declan Rice, Wharton at £65 to £70 million actually represents decent value. He's already proven in the Premier League, he's got resale value being English and young, and he'd be entering his peak years with us. The cost-benefit analysis is interesting because you're not just buying current ability, you're investing in 7 to 8 years of potential elite performance. If he develops as expected, that fee becomes a bargain. Compare this to bringing in a 28-year-old for £40 million who gives you 3 good seasons at best. Now, I need to be honest here because not everyone in the fan base is convinced. Some supporters are questioning whether we should spend £65 million on a player who, let's be real, hasn't produced massive goal or assist numbers. There's also the argument that we could find cheaper alternatives abroad, perhaps a creative midfielder from Serie A or La Liga for £35 to £40 million, and use the saved money to strengthen another position. Others worry about his injury history and whether he can handle the physical demands of playing for a club challenging on multiple fronts. These are legitimate concerns that deserve consideration. So now I want to know from you, In your opinion, is it worth it or not to bring Adam Wharton for £65 million? Would you bring him as that creative passer we desperately need, or do you think it's better to invest heavily in another name? Maybe someone more proven from Europe? Leave your opinion here in the comments because I'm genuinely curious what the Spurs faithful think about this one. Now, we need to talk about Yan Diomande because a reality check has just hit Tottenham pursuit of the RB Leipzig winger, and it's not good news, my friend. Yan Diomande, the 19-year-old Ivorian sensation currently tearing it up at RB Leipzig. Tottenham had identified him as a top target to bolster our attack, and some reports even suggested we were leading the race earlier this month. The fanbase got excited about potentially landing one of Europe's most exciting young wingers, but Caught Offside has just delivered a massive update that changes the entire landscape of this transfer race, and honestly, it's going to test Vinai Venkatesham's willingness to go toe-to-toe with Europe elite clubs. For those who haven't followed Diomande rise, let me give you context. This is a player Leipzig signed as a massive talent and he's quickly become one of the most coveted wingers in Europe. He's got no previous connection to Tottenham, so this would be purely about convincing him that our project under Thomas Frank is the right move for his development. The challenge is that at 19, he's at that crucial stage where the next move defines his career trajectory, and every top club in Europe knows it. Here's where things get complicated, my friend. Leipzig have drawn a clear line in the sand. Negotiations will only begin at €100 million, which converts to £87.4 million. That's an enormous fee for any club, even for a generational talent. But the real issue isn't just the money. Caught Offside reports that 7 clubs are now in this race: Tottenham, Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester United, Chelsea, Paris Saint-Germain, and Bayern Munich. And here's the kicker: Liverpool are showing the strongest interest and are preparing a concrete bid. Even worse for our hopes, Diomande himself named Liverpool as his dream destination just 2 weeks ago. That's a massive advantage for the Reds. Let's break down what Diomande would actually bring to Tottenham if we somehow pulled this off. This season at Leipzig, he's been electric. His pace is frightening, the kind that leaves defenders scrambling. He's got that ability to receive the ball, drop his shoulder, and accelerate past opponents in tight spaces. His end product is also improving rapidly, with goals and assists coming regularly. What makes Diomande special is his versatility across the front line. He can play on either wing, and in Leipzig's system, he's even operated centrally at times. His dribbling ability, one-on-one success rate, and his willingness to take on defenders make him exactly the type of direct winger that can unlock packed defenses. Now, in terms of Thomas' system, imagine this, my friend. We play with inverted wingers who cut inside, combine with the striker, and create overloads in the final third. Diomande has the technical security to operate in those tight spaces, the pace to exploit transitions, and the intelligence to make runs behind defenses when our fullbacks push high. He'd give us that unpredictability and directness that we sometimes lack when games get tight. The added value would be enormous. At 19, you're not just buying current production, you're investing in a player who could become world-class. In Frank's attacking system with proper coaching, Diomande could develop into a 20-goal-per-season winger. That's the ceiling we're talking about. But here's the thing about the £87.5 million price tag: it's steep, even by today's standards. However, when you consider that Real Madrid paid €103 million for Jude Bellingham at 20, or that Chelsea have spent similar amounts on young talents, the fee isn't completely outrageous for a player of Diomande potential. The question is whether Tottenham are willing to compete at that financial level. But let me play devil's advocate here. Some fans are rightfully asking, why would we spend £87.5 million on a 19-year-old winger when we have other pressing needs? There are concerns about whether Diomande is consistent enough, whether he can handle the Premier League physicality, and whether this money might be better spent on an established striker or that creative midfielder we've been discussing. Plus, with 7 clubs circling and Liverpool being his preferred destination, are we just being used to drive up the price? These are valid concerns that the club needs to weigh carefully. So, are you against or in favour of Tottenham going all in for Yan Diomande at £87.5 million? Do you think it's worth competing with Liverpool, Arsenal, and the rest for his signature, or do you prefer the club seek another winger option that's more realistic and maybe invest that money elsewhere? Tell me here in the comments as I'll be reading every single one. See you in the next video.